The silence of the alien mothership's observation deck was broken by the soft hum of its control panels. Captain Zarinx stood at the center, his elongated fingers tapping against the smooth, translucent interface. His compound eyes glowed faintly under the ship's dim cyan lights, reflecting pride. On the monitor before him, a dozen pods pulsed with green light, each containing a sedated human child. Zarinx sneered, his mandibles clicking in satisfaction. Primitive creatures, he muttered, his voice a rasping hiss. Their adults may be resilient, but their offspring, so fragile. They will serve as excellent leverage. A subordinate approached, bowing low. Captain, the human transmission networks are abuzz with panic. Their forces are scrambling, but they are centuries behind our technology. Victory is certain. Zarinx chuckled, his claws twitching. Good. Let them squirm. By the time they realize where their younglings are, it will be too late. The Federation Council will have no choice but to yield to our demands. Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed across the deck. A signal. A faint distress call originating from the human children's homeworld. Zarinx tilted his head. Patch it through. The transmission crackled to life, a voice speaking in low, controlled tones. To the creatures who dared to abduct our children, return them now. You have 30 minutes. If you do not comply, the voice grew colder. We will come for them, and you will regret everything. The message ended, replaced by static. Zarinx stared at the screen in bemusement. Then he burst into laughter. The arrogance! They dare threaten us! He turned to his crew. Engage the cloaking devices. Increase the orbital shield. Let them try. Half a world away, a Black Ops team stood in the shadow of a ruined skyscraper, the glow of a nearby holographic map illuminating their faces. Each of them was armed to the teeth with experimental weaponry, their expressions grim and focused. At the center stood Commander Mara Steele, her steely gaze scanning the map. Her voice was a low growl. We have a 25-minute window before their defenses solidify. The enemy ship is cloaked, but we've pinpointed its energy signature. This is a smash and grab. We go in fast, hit them hard, and extract the kids. One of her soldiers, a wiry man named Dex, adjusted his visor. Commander, Intel says that tech is light years ahead. How do we even breach the hull? Mara smirked and tapped the sleek device strapped to her wrist. With this, a neural disruptor, it'll fry their systems for a full 60 seconds. That's all the time we need. Another soldier, Rear, raised an eyebrow. And if it doesn't work? Mara's grin faded. Then we fight our way in, old school. The team nodded, their resolve solidified. The alien ship loomed in low orbit, its massive silhouette hidden from human eyes. But Mara's team didn't rely on sight. Their stealth drone, equipped with quantum sensors, fed real-time data to their visors. As the ship hovered over a dense jungle, the team's transport soared silently beneath it. Mara signaled, and the neural disruptor was activated. The effect was immediate. The alien ship's cloaking flickered, revealing its immense, jagged form. Alarms blared aboard the vessel, confusion rippling through its crew. System failure. Shields are down, a panicked alien technician shouted. Zarinx hissed, his claws slamming into the console. Find the source of the interference. Prepare the defense drones. But it was too late. Mara and her team had already launched magnetic grapples, ascending toward the ship. Inside, chaos reigned. Mara's team moved like shadows, neutralizing alien guards with precision. Their weapons, designed to counter alien biology, emitted bursts of electromagnetic pulses that incapacitated the enemy without mercy. The first major resistance came in a narrow corridor leading to the detention pods. Dozens of alien warriors, armed with plasma rifles, awaited them. Ambush! Dex shouted, diving for cover as bolts of searing plasma tore through the air. Mara ducked behind a bulkhead, her mind racing. She activated a holomap of the ship on her wrist. We're boxed in. Dex, Rear, flank them on the right. Cade, you're with me. The team moved with deadly precision. Dex lobbed a flash grenade, disorienting the aliens, while Rear unleashed a hail of suppressive fire. Mara and Cade took advantage of the chaos, pushing forward and cutting through the remaining guards. Clear! Cade shouted, panting. But Mara's relief was short-lived. The ship's automated systems reactivated, the disruptor's effects wearing off. Red lights bathed the corridor as a deep voice boomed over the intercom. Human intruders. You have made a grave mistake. Mara's jaw tightened. His wrong, she muttered. They did. The team reached the detention pods with 10 minutes to spare. The children were unconscious but unharmed, their pods surrounded by alien tech. Dex, can you get them out? Mara asked, scanning the room for threats. Dex knelt by the nearest pod, his fingers flying over the alien interface. It's encrypted, but I can override it. Give me a few minutes. Make it quick, Rhea said, keeping her rifle trained on the entrance. As Dex worked, a low rumble echoed through the ship. The sound grew louder, more ominous. They are moving us into deep space, Mara realized, her voice tight with urgency. We're running out of time. Dex cursed under his breath. Got it. The first pod hissed open, and a child stirred, their eyes fluttering. But before they could celebrate, the door burst open, and Zarinx entered, flanked by his elite guards. You dare invade my ship? Zarinx snarled, his mandibles clicking in fury. Your primitive species will. Mara didn't let him finish. She fired, her shot striking the alien captain's armor and staggering him. No speeches, she said coldly. We're here for the kids. The room erupted into chaos. Plasma bolts and energy pulses filled the air as Mara's team fought desperately to protect the children. Despite their superior numbers, the aliens struggled against the humans' ferocity. Get those pods open, Mara shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. The last pod opened just as Zarinx lunged at Mara, his claws slashing through the air. She dodged, countering with a brutal strike that sent him reeling. You think you're predators? He sneered, recovering. You're nothing but. Mara drove her blade into his chest, silencing him for good. Guess you underestimated us. With the children freed, the team signaled their transport. As they ascended back to safety, the alien ship shuddered, explosions rippling through its hull. Mara smiled grimly. Congratulations, Captain. You just signed your death warrant. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant cascade of fire and debris as the human transport sped away, slicing through the dense atmosphere. Commander Mara Steele kept her eyes on the rear viewport, watching as the mothership's remains lit up the night sky. They had the kids. But the mission was far from over. Status check. Mara barked, snapping her head toward the team. Dex leaned over a console, sweat dripping down his face. Kids are stable, but they are groggy. We'll need a med evac ASAP. Cade, who sat near the children, frowned. How's the evac going to work when every alien in orbit is gunning for us? Rhea, peering at the radar, confirmed his fears. They're already on us. 3 interceptors closing fast. ETA, 2 minutes. The transport jolted violently as a plasma blast grazed its hull. Alarms screamed, bathing the interior in a red glow. Mara grabbed the intercom. Hold tight, everyone. Dex, give me evasive maneuvers. Dex's fingers flew across the controls. The transport banked hard, dodging another barrage of plasma fire. Through the viewport, 3 sleek alien interceptors loomed closer, their weapons glowing menacingly. Inside one of the interceptors, an alien pilot snarled as he locked onto the human transport. These primitives dare to defy us? They'll pay in blood. He fired another volley, this time aiming to cripple rather than destroy. Sparks flew as one of the transport's engines took a direct hit. We're losing thrust. Dex shouted, struggling to stabilize the ship. Rhea, return fire. Mara commanded. Rhea grinned, her hands gripping the transport's turret controls. With pleasure. The human turret roared to life, spitting explosive rounds at their pursuers. One of the interceptors took a hit, its wings shearing off before spiraling into the jungle below. Nice shot, Dex yelled. But there was no time to celebrate. The 2 remaining interceptors split formation, one moving to flank the transport while the other hammered its weakened engine. Dex, can we boost power to shields? Mara asked. Not without losing what's left of our propulsion. Dex replied, gritting his teeth. Mara clenched her jaw. Then we don't run. We fight. The second interceptor moved into position, lining up its shot, but before it could fire, Mara's team unveiled their ace, a prototype missile launcher mounted beneath the transport. "Lock target," Mara ordered, her voice cold and precise. "Locked," Cade confirmed. "Fire." The missile streaked through the air, its trail a blazing arc against the night. It struck the interceptor dead-on, detonating in a blinding explosion. Shrapnel rained down, and the alien craft plummeted into the darkness. "That's two down," Rhea cheered. The final interceptor, undeterred, unleashed a barrage of plasma fire, rocking the transport violently. Mara was thrown against the bulkhead, pain flaring through her ribs. "Shields are critical," Dex warned. "We can't take another hit." "Then we won't," Mara said grimly. "Rhea, give me a firing solution on that last ship." "Already working on it," Rhea replied, sweat dripping from her brow. The interceptor pilot, realizing he was now the lone hunter, decided to press the advantage. He launched a cluster of tracking drones, small, spherical machines that darted toward the transport, their glowing cores humming with deadly intent. "Commander, we've got drones incoming," Dex yelled. Mara's mind raced. The transport's defenses were nearly depleted, and the children's lives hung by a thread. Then an idea struck her. "Cade, grab the EMP grenade pack. Get to the cargo bay." Cade nodded, snatching the pack and sprinting to the rear of the ship. The drones closed in, their energy signatures lighting up the radar like a swarm of angry fireflies. "Cade, what's your status?" Mara called. "Almost there." Cade's voice crackled over the comm. Reaching the cargo bay, Cade tore open the pack and activated the grenades. He hurled them out of the ship just as the drones were about to collide. The resulting EMP blast was a dazzling sphere of energy, short-circuiting every drone in the swarm. They dropped like stones, their lifeless forms scattering across the jungle canopy below. "Cade, you're a lifesaver," Rhea said, exhaling in relief. "Don't thank me yet," Cade replied. "That last interceptor's still on us." The pilot of the remaining interceptor growled in frustration. "They are slippery, but not invincible. Time to end this." He activated his craft's overcharged plasma cannon, a weapon designed to destroy even fortified bunkers. As the cannon began to glow, its power building, the alien pilot grinned. But his grin vanished as the human transport suddenly veered upward, charging straight toward him. "What are they doing?" he hissed. Mara stood in the cockpit, gripping the controls with white-knuckled determination. "Dex, divert all power to forward shields." Dex hesitated. "That's insane." "Do it," Mara snapped. The transport rocketed toward the interceptor, the two ships locked on a collision course. At the last possible moment, Mara pulled up, skimming just above the alien craft. "Rear, now!" Mara shouted. Rhea fired the turret, unloading every remaining round into the interceptor's vulnerable rear engine. The alien craft erupted in a fireball, debris scattering across the sky. The transport shuddered, its systems barely holding together. Dex worked furiously at the console. "Engines are fried, but I can guide us into a crash landing." Mara nodded. "Do it. Everyone, brace for impact." The transport descended rapidly, smoke trailing from its engines. It crashed into a clearing, the impact jarring but survivable. Mara unstrapped herself, wincing as pain lanced through her side. "Everyone okay?" The team groaned but gave affirmatives. The children, though shaken, were unharmed. Rhea peered out a shattered viewport. "Looks like we're not alone." Emerging from the jungle were alien ground troops, heavily armed and advancing rapidly. Mara tightened her grip on her rifle. "Looks like round two," she said grimly. The battle wasn't over yet. The crash site was a smoldering mess of twisted metal and scorched earth, but there was no time to assess the damage. The alien ground troops were closing in, their eerie, guttural war cries echoing through the jungle. Commander Mara Steele crouched low behind the wreckage of the transport, signaling for her team to take defensive positions. "Dex, what's the situation?" Mara asked, her tone clipped but calm. Dex peeked over the edge of the hull, his visor highlighting dozens of heat signatures moving toward them. "We've got at least 30 hostiles, armed to the teeth. And they are bringing heavy artillery." Perfect, Mara muttered. She glanced at Rhea, who was checking the children. Status on the kids. Rhea gave a sharp nod. They are rattled but unharmed. The pods cushioned the crash. We can't move them, though. They are still too groggy. Mara's jaw clenched. Then we hold this position. We're not leaving without them. The alien forces split into two flanking units, trying to encircle the humans. Their sleek, insectoid armor glinted in the moonlight, and their plasma rifles emitted a faint, ominous hum. Commander, they are pinching us, Cade warned, firing a burst from his rifle. The shots hit one of the aliens, the energy rounds piercing its armor and dropping it instantly. Stick to cover, Mara barked. She activated her wrist-mounted comm device. Dex, set up a perimeter. Trip mines, flash traps, anything we've got left. Dex nodded and got to work, crawling along the edge of the wreckage and planting mines in the thick undergrowth. The aliens advanced, their plasma fire lighting up the night. Bolts sizzled against the remnants of the transport's hull, sending sparks flying. Mara popped up from cover and fired, her rifle kicking against her shoulder. One alien went down, then another, but for every one they eliminated, it felt like two more emerged from the shadows. The first mine detonated, sending a group of aliens sprawling. Dex grinned grimly. That'll slow them down. But the reprieve was short-lived. A loud, mechanical roar tore through the jungle as an alien walker, a towering, spider-like war machine, crashed through the trees. Its legs were tipped with blades, and its central turret swiveled toward the crash site. Walker incoming, Rhea shouted, unloading her rifle at the monstrosity. The bullets pinged harmlessly off its armored chassis. The turret fired, and a plasma bolt struck the ground near the transport, sending a shockwave that knocked the team off their feet. Mara scrambled to her feet, her ears ringing. Dex, tell me we have something for that thing. Dex hesitated, then reached into his pack and pulled out a compact, cylindrical device. Anti-armor charge. One shot, one kill. But I need to get close to plant it. Too risky, Mara said, her mind racing. Then she made a decision. I'll cover you. Rhea, Cade, keep those ground troops off us. Dex, move now. Dex sprinted through the chaos, keeping low as plasma bolts zipped past him. The walker's turret tracked him, firing a shot that missed by inches. He dove into a trench created by the crash, breathing hard. Keep its attention on me, Mara shouted, firing her rifle at the walker's glowing sensor array. The machine turned, its turret locking onto her position. The ground shook as the walker stumped forward, its blade-like legs slicing through trees. Mara ducked behind a boulder as the turret fired again, obliterating her cover in a shower of debris. Dex used the distraction to close the distance. He reached the walker's base, the massive legs towering above him. Activating the anti-armor charge, he slammed it onto the machine's central joint and armed the timer. Charge set, he yelled, retreating as fast as his legs could carry him. Fall back, Mara shouted. The team scrambled for cover as the charge detonated. The explosion ripped through the walker, sending chunks of metal and fire into the sky. The machine toppled, crashing into the jungle with a deafening roar. The alien troops faltered, momentarily stunned by the loss of their war machine. Mara seized the opportunity. Push forward. Take them out. Her team advanced, their weapons blazing. The aliens fought back fiercely, but without the walker's support, their lines began to crumble. One by one, the aliens fell. The battlefield grew quieter until the last alien dropped, its weapon clattering to the ground. Mara scanned the area, her rifle at the ready. Clear. Clear, Rhea confirmed, her voice heavy with exhaustion. As the team regrouped, a low rumble echoed in the distance. Mara frowned. That doesn't sound good. Dex checked his scanner and paled. Commander, there's a second wave incoming. Bigger than the first. Mara's stomach sank. They were out of mines, out of heavy ordnance, and nearly out of ammo. What are our options? Rhea asked, her voice tight. Mara glanced at the children, still huddled in their pods. Her jaw tightened. We call for backup. Cade raised an eyebrow. Backup? We're deep in enemy territory. Who's coming for us? Mara tapped her comm device, transmitting a distress signal on a secure frequency. "An old friend," she said, her voice grim. Minutes later, the distant roar of engines filled the air. A sleek, black gunship emerged from the clouds, its twin cannons blazing as it descended. The alien reinforcements scattered as the gunship unleashed a storm of firepower, carving a path to the crash site. The gunship's ramp lowered, and a tall, broad-shouldered figure emerged, flanked by heavily armed soldiers. The man's scarred face broke into a grin as he approached Mara. "Steel," he said, his voice a deep rumble. "Looks like you've been busy." Mara smirked. "Nice of you to join us, Logan." Logan nodded toward the children. "Let's get them out of here." The team loaded the children onto the gunship as Logan's soldiers set up a defensive perimeter. The alien forces regrouped, their numbers swelling, but the gunship's cannons kept them at bay. As the last child was secured, Mara turned to Logan. "We're not leaving until we finish this." Logan grinned. "Wouldn't expect anything less." The fight wasn't over, but the tide had turned. And Mara was ready to see it through to the end. The gunship hovered above the jungle canopy, its engines humming with power as it unleashed precise volleys of fire into the advancing alien forces. The reinforcements were relentless, their numbers doubling by the minute. Mara Steele stood near the open ramp, her rifle slung across her chest as she surveyed the battlefield below. The children were secured in the ship's medical bay, safe for now, but the aliens weren't giving up without a fight. "Logan," Mara called over the roar of the gunship's cannons, "we need a plan that doesn't end with us getting overrun." Logan grunted, his sharp eyes tracking the swarm of aliens. "We hit their command center. Cut the head off the snake." Mara nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Where's the command center?" Dex, monitoring the situation from a tactical console, pointed to a large alien structure visible through the thinning trees, a glowing, spire-like construct surrounded by energy shields. "That's it. Looks like their communications hub too. We take it out, and they'll lose coordination." Logan turned to his team. "All right, Steele. You and your crew join me. We drop in, blow the tower, and get out before they know what hit them." Mara smirked. "Sounds like a plan." The gunship swooped low, avoiding enemy fire as it approached the alien command center. Mara and her team fast-roped down, landing in the dense undergrowth. Logan's soldiers followed, their movements precise and disciplined. The jungle was alive with the sound of alien war cries and the buzz of plasma fire. Mara motioned for silence, her team crouching low as they crept toward the spire. The air crackled with energy, the alien shields casting an eerie glow over the area. "How do we get through those shields?" Rhea whispered, her eyes scanning the defenses. Dex pulled a small, disc-shaped device from his pack. "Pulse disruptor. Should give us a 10-second window to get inside." "Then let's move," Mara said. As they neared the spire, an alien patrol emerged from the shadows. The creatures hissed, their insectoid mandibles clicking as they raised their weapons. "Engage!" Mara shouted, diving behind a fallen tree as plasma bolts scorched the air. Rhea and Cade opened fire, their rifles spitting energy rounds that cut through the alien soldiers. Logan's team moved with brutal efficiency, flanking the patrol and eliminating them in seconds. Dex hurried to the base of the spire, planting the pulse disruptor near the shield generator. "Devices set. Stand by." The disruptor activated, sending out a shockwave that destabilized the shield. The energy barrier flickered, then vanished. "Go, go, go!" Mara yelled, leading the charge into the spire. Inside, the structure was a maze of alien technology. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent light, and the air was thick with the hum of machinery. The team moved quickly, their boots echoing against the metallic floors. Dex accessed a terminal, his fingers flying across the alien interface. "Got it. Cores on the upper level. If we overload it, this place will blow sky high." "How much time will we have?" Mara asked. "Not enough," Dex replied grimly. Logan grinned. "Plenty for us." They ascended the spire, encountering fierce resistance at every turn. Alien warriors poured from side passages, their shrieks deafening as they charged. Mara's team fought valiantly, the tight corridors amplifying the chaos. "Cade, grenade!" Mara called out. Cade lobbed an explosive down the hallway, the resulting blast clearing a path to the core. "Keep moving," Mara urged, her rifle blazing. They reached the core, a massive, pulsating sphere of energy suspended in the center of the room. Alien glyphs spiraled across its surface, and the air vibrated with raw power. Dex set to work, planting charges around the core while the rest of the team held off the incoming waves of aliens. "Charges are armed," Dex shouted. 5-minute countdown. The retreat was a desperate dash. Aliens swarmed from every direction, their relentless assault threatening to overwhelm the team. Logan's soldiers covered the rear, their heavy weapons cutting down scores of attackers. "Gunships inbound," Logan called as they exited the spire, the charges ticking down. The gunship appeared overhead, its cannons shredding through the remaining alien forces. A cable ladder dropped, and the team scrambled aboard. "Everyone in," the pilot asked over the comm. "Go!" Mara yelled, holding onto the ladder as the gunship ascended. Behind them, the spire erupted in a blinding explosion. The shockwave rocked the gunship, and debris rained down like meteorites. The team sat in silence, catching their breath as the gunship sped away. The jungle below was a smoldering ruin, the alien forces scattered and disorganized without their command center. Mara leaned back, exhaustion washing over her. She glanced at Logan, who gave her a nod of respect. "Not bad, Steele," he said. "Not bad yourself," she replied with a faint smile. The children were safe, the aliens defeated, and humanity had sent a clear message: mess with us, and you'll regret it. As the gunship disappeared into the horizon, Mara allowed herself a moment of quiet satisfaction. The battle was over, but the war was far from won. And she'd be ready for the next fight.